So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was gonna give birth and she would, no wait, oh, and she was gonna give birth and she was gonna live, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no, but it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered. Black Americans, about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay. Let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans, about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates them? If Charlie were actually looking for the race that makes up half the prison population in the U.S., he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
Wrong. The word "so" is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
So blacks commit more crimes.
He's saying "so" as in therefore, as in one could conclude, but Charlie knows he's lying. Even if he hadn't just lied about the black prison population, Charlie is smart enough to know that correlation does not equal causation, but he's hoping that you don't know that. So he deploys the word "so" to make you think he's coming to an obvious conclusion.
So blacks
Instead, he's making an illogical, racist leap. Charlie knows that we don't have usable data about who commits crimes. It's impossible to have that data since so many crimes go both unreported and or unsolved. Charlie knows that we only have data about arrests and convictions. I'll come back to that data in a moment. What's painfully obvious is that Charlie Kirk isn't interested in understanding the statistics he so carelessly misquotes. He's interested in making bad faith arguments, something that becomes even more obvious in his next point.
Blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Wrong again, and loud this time. If Charlie were interested in honesty, he would have mentioned the other 1350 statistic. Yes, black people are about 13% of the population, but make up 53% of all criminal exonerations. In fact, black people make up 55% of all murder exonerations. Specifically, black people are more likely than any other group in this country to be convicted of crimes they did not commit. And then people like you have the nerve to parade these stats around as though they prove something. The reality is that you probably know these stats, but you leave them out on purpose because to bring that stat into this conversation would make some people think. And that's the last thing a person like you wants.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational.
Charlie Kirk shot dead child. That didn't end well. It didn't age well. It didn't end well. Anyway, let me go ahead and mind my black business. What we gonna eat for dinner tomorrow night?
So here this lying son of a bitch goes with trying to throw shade at black people, lying on black people, giving you fake phony statistics. And pretty much, of course, racists think, like that scripture saying, slaves, obey your earthly masters with fear and sincerity of heart, as you would Christ. Not only those who are kind to you. No fucking slave master was kind to a slave. You took their freedom and you beat them, asshole. Make them work and do all kinds of fucked up shit for you. They're held captive. What's nice about that? But also those who are harsh and unjust. For a good slave is a good Christian. That's where these house niggas and field niggas come in. And that's what they want to do. They lie to you, they feed you bullshit, and then you run with that nonsense. Well, the fact that racist people expect black people and anybody else to bow down, worship, and go with whatever they say, well, that shit don't work over here. And you want to know what? He sat there and talked about how black people are the ones who commit the crimes, the murders and all. Yeah, lying his ass off. But you know what? You got killed by a white guy. How ironic, huh? And you also said that, hey, you're okay with death by the gun. Well, you got your own request. Congratulations. You got exactly what you wanted.